Dr. Zixtar's three primary eyes widened in absolute horror as the human stumbled into the medical bay, leaving a trail of crimson liquid across the pristine white floor. The Valorian medic's chitinous exoskeleton rattled with distress, producing the clicking sound his species made when experiencing extreme anxiety. "By the sacred void!" Zixtar shrieked, his translator struggling to convey the pure panic in his voice. "You're hemorrhaging vital fluids. Your dermis has been completely compromised. This is a catastrophic injury." The human, Staff Sergeant Jake Morrison, glanced down at the gash running along his left forearm. The wound was deep enough to expose muscle tissue, and blood dripped steadily onto the floor. He looked back up at the alien doctor with a confused expression. "This? Nah, Doc, it's just a scratch. Got caught on some sharp metal during the hull breach repair. You got a bandage or something?" Zixtar's mandibles trembled. In his 15 cycles serving aboard the intergalactic coalition vessel Harmony's Promise, he had treated hundreds of species. But humans, these bizarre, stubborn creatures from the planet they called Earth, continued to defy every medical principle he had learned at the Valorian Medical Academy. "Just a scratch." The doctor's voice rose to a pitch that would have shattered glass had humans been capable of hearing it. "Your cardiovascular fluid is exiting your body at an alarming rate. You could expire within the next solar rotation." Jake chuckled, a sound that made Zixtar flinch. Human laughter was still unsettling to most alien species aboard the ship. "Relax, document. I've had worse. Remember last month when that plasma conduit exploded?" The Valorian doctor did remember. He had nightmares about it. Morrison had walked in with second-degree burns covering 30% of his body, smiled, and asked if he could get back to work after getting a little cream on it. "Sit," Zixtar commanded, pointing one of his 4 arms at the medical platform. "I must seal this wound immediately before you lose consciousness." Jake complied, hopping onto the platform with ease despite his injury. The medic scanning equipment hummed to life, analyzing the damage. The readout made Zixtar's secondary heart skip a beat. "The laceration has penetrated 7.3 millimeters into your muscular tissue," he reported, his voice quavering. "Your pain receptors should be firing at maximum capacity. How are you not screaming?" "Guess it just doesn't hurt that much," Jake shrugged, then winced slightly. "Okay, it stings a bit. But nothing I can't handle." Zixtar began working with his surgical tools, his 4 arms moving in practiced coordination. As he cleaned the wound, he couldn't help but marvel at human physiology. Their pain tolerance was absolutely absurd by galactic standards. Most species would have been unconscious from shock by now. "Tell me, Sergeant Morrison," Zixtar said as he worked, trying to distract himself from his anxiety, "why do humans consistently downplay their injuries? Is this some form of psychological disorder?" Jake laughed again. "It's just how we're wired, document. Back on Earth, my grandpa used to say, if you're not bleeding out or missing a limb, you're fine. Guess that attitude stuck with humanity. But you are bleeding substantially." "Yeah, but I'm not bleeding out. There's a difference." Zixtar applied a coagulation gel, watching as the bleeding slowed. "Your species survived on a death world. I've read the reports. Predators on every continent. Diseases that should have rendered you extinct. Weather patterns that range from scalding to freezing. And yet, you thrived." "We're pretty stubborn," Jake admitted. "Evolution made us tough because we had to be. Everything on Earth was trying to kill us, so we adapted." The alien doctor began suturing the wound with synthetic fibers that would dissolve as the tissue healed. "I've treated Carillion warriors who would have fainted from this injury. The Dantari, who have reinforced skeletal structures, would have required sedation. And yet here you sit, making casual conversation. Want to hear something funny?" Jake grinned. "When I was 12, I fell off my bike and broke my arm in 2 places. Rode my bike home with one hand, told my mom I was fine, and she only took me to the hospital when she saw the bone sticking out a little. Zixtar's mandibles went completely still. You continued operating a personal transport vehicle with a compound fracture. Well, I needed to get home somehow. The doctor finished the suturing and applied a regeneration patch. This will accelerate your healing by 40%. Keep it dry and avoid strenuous activity for at least 3 cycles. Jake examined the bandage. Thanks, document appreciated. I should be good to get back to work in a few hours. Hours? Zixtar's voice cracked. Absolutely not. You need rest. Minimum 3 cycles of recovery. Doc, we've got a ship to run. Can't just sit around because of a little cut. A little cut? The Valorian medic was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I have documented this encounter in your medical file as a severe laceration requiring immediate intervention. You are officially on medical leave. Jake stood up from the platform, testing his arm carefully. All right. I'll take it easy for the rest of the shift. But tomorrow I'm back on duty. As the human walked toward the exit, Zixtar called out, Sergeant Morrison, please try to avoid further injuries. My cardiac systems cannot handle this stress. Jake turned and gave him a thumbs up, a gesture Zixtar had learned meant approval among humans. No promises, document. But I'll do my best. After Morrison left, Zixtar slumped into his chair, exhausted. He pulled up the human's medical file on his console and scrolled through the entries: fractured ribs, concussion, plasma burns, frostbite, chemical exposure, and now a scratch that would have hospitalized most species for a week. A notification appeared on his screen. It was from the ship's captain, a Threxian commander named Vokhtar. Dr. Zixtar, I'm assigning 3 more humans to your medical team next cycle. Prepare accordingly. The Valorian doctor's mandibles clicked in distress as he reached for his emergency sedative dispenser. If there was one thing he had learned about humans during his time aboard the Harmony's Promise, it was this: they were absolutely, undeniably insane when it came to their own safety. And the galaxy was better for it. Humans didn't just survive, they thrived in conditions that would destroy other species. They laughed at death, shrugged off pain, and called catastrophic injuries just a scratch. Zixtar initialized a message to the Valorian Medical Academy, requesting immediate update to xenobiology curriculum. Current human pain tolerance parameters are vastly underestimated. Also requesting psychological support resources for medical staff treating human patients. As he sent the message, he heard a crash from the corridor outside, followed by a familiar voice, I'm good. Totally fine. Just slipped. Dr. Zixtar put his head in his hands and wondered, not for the first time, what he had done to deserve this assignment.